This is the Diamond Hogs Podcast with Mason Choate and Robert Stewart.
Welcome to the Diamond Hogs Podcast. I'm your host, Mason Choate, joined as always by Robert Stewart. So Arkansas loses to Oklahoma State 14-10 in a game that basically describes what the Stillwater Regional has been. It's just craziness. It is unpredictable. I'm going to change the view on YouTube to gallery. There we go. Unpredictable, insane, crazy, never over. Like all of those things is it's what the Stillwater Regional has been. And I have a feeling that Monday's game, you'll be listening to this podcast on Monday because technically it's Monday when we're recording right now. I have a feeling that Monday night's game is going to be crazy also. We don't know who the pitchers are going to be. Oklahoma State played like 12 hours worth of baseball today. And then tomorrow you get more baseball. We'll probably have another 5-hour long game. So, Robert, before we get to where you can find us and ad reads, tell us your general thoughts.
I mean, the Arkansas game was the Arkansas-Oklahoma State second game, the regional final. That was the third game of baseball at the Stillwater Regional, and those three games combined have almost taken 15 hours. This regional is maybe the most insane 4-game stretch of baseball, if you think about it, because remember, Grand Canyon was beating Missouri State 7-1 in the seventh inning, and then Missouri State came back and won that game. And then it was 20-12 last night, 29-15 this afternoon, and 14-10 in extras Sunday night. I'm not a betting man, but I think I would throw my house on the over Monday night.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there. That's a pretty good bet to make. And we're going to talk about Arkansas's loss to Oklahoma State. Before we do, you can find us on the Hit That Line podcast network and on HawgBeat.com. So visit hitthatline.com or type in Hit That Line wherever you get your podcast, or go to HawgBeat.com for all of your Razorback baseball coverage, and go to the HawgBeat YouTube to watch us on the YouTube. We're on Zoom because I had to make the trip home, but Robert is still in Stillwater. Got a hotel tonight, and he'll be there tomorrow live covering it for the Diamond Hawks podcast, Hit That Line, and the Arkansas Traveler. So, and then Robert, and when I was there, we were able to go because of Matt Morris State Farm, and he is your good neighbor where you can get surprisingly great rates. He is State Farm agent Matt Morris. He's an Arkansas alum, and he's your one-stop shop located in Central Arkansas for the service you deserve at the price that you want. Stop looking around. Call him at 501-568-3222 for your insurance needs. You can also visit insuredlittlerock.net, insuredlittlerock.net for some insurance with Matt Morris State Farm. I say it all the time, but it is worth your time to get a quote because you're probably going to be saving money based off of what you're paying for right now. So call him 501-568-3222, Matt Morris State Farm. Thank you. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements. Okay. Robert, Jackson Wiggins started this game, which I feel like most people listening to this and myself talking about this, once again, it's a game where whatever happened at the beginning, or realistically whatever happened from like the seventh inning and before, you just forgot all of it.
Yeah, I mean that's just all there is to it. We talked about it yesterday, right? I said that probably nobody outside the Arkansas locker room feels comfortable about Jackson Wiggins. I think we all saw that outing coming. 1 1/3, 4 hits, 3 runs allowed. Credit to Will McIntyre for getting the double play ball to make sure that wasn't worse, because gosh, I mean, he gave up a leadoff home run in that inning, walked one, gave up a couple more hits, and things could have gotten uglier than they were. Thankfully, they didn't. Arkansas was able to grab another run there in the bottom of the second. And how about Will McIntyre with 5 1/3 innings of relief? He did give up 3 runs. We were texting about this during the game. The stat line isn't really indicative of how he performed. But yeah, redshirt sophomore did about all you could have asked, especially after closing it out last night.
Yeah, I think Will McIntyre, I tweeted it out, but he's become such a valuable piece to this Razorback bullpen. The unfortunate thing is that Monday night you're probably not going to get to use him. But you look at it, I mean, man, you can't trust Wiggins or Hagen Smith at this point. Two guys that at one point in the season you were very confident in. Now it's like both of them threw under 40 pitches. I think they both threw under 40 pitches. At least both under 50 pitches. And you're thinking you got a game Monday. You don't want to start either one of those guys. Like when people were talking about who's Arkansas going to start on Monday, neither one of those guys is in the conversation just because you don't. I mean, for us, looking at it from a realistic perspective, they are in the conversation. But if you think about it, I wouldn't throw them out there. I wouldn't throw because both of them started the games, these past two games against Oklahoma State, and we know what happened. Both of them got shelled and pulled. I think they both went 1 1/3, right?
Yes, they did.
So I mean, we'll get into who we think is going to start. We got to talk about the rest of what happened in this game. And for a second there, Robert, I was thinking, all right, 3.5 hour game will be good. And then let's see, what inning was it where everything just went to crap?
The eighth.
Yeah, the 8th inning when hold on. Because it was Arkansas it was a 6-5 game for a little bit there. It was a 3-2 game for a little bit there. And then the 8th. So Oklahoma State go ahead.
Made it 7-5.
Yeah.
Cowboys made it 7-5 with a sac fly. That's right. And then Hogs clawed back. That's right, another throwing error on the middle infielder. I'll tell you what, Rock Riggio, the cocky guy at the plate, and Marcus Brown, the guy from Springdale, they're having a tough series defensively. I can tell you that much. And then how about that 2-run shot from Michael Turner? Everybody thought he was about to be the hero for a second. And then for whatever reason, Connor Nolan came in to pitch. And I mean, I was talking a little bit about this with Andrew Hutchinson. Like, Tigert hasn't been super inspiring recently. Like we talked about yesterday, he walked 3 guys in his outing, but I don't know. I mean, Connor Nolan hasn't either. He had one good start, and it was 2 days ago. Maybe give him a little more rest because, what if the worst case scenario happened and he went out there and did what he did, and now he can't possibly start Monday?
I was confused by it, man. I will say it would have been a great storyline if things ended with the Michael Turner home run. That would have been awesome. But they bring in Nolan, and it kind of makes sense because this is as like if you're thinking recency bias, this is your most dominant guy. Yes, it was Grand Canyon, but it did not make sense to me. Brady Tigert is your closer. You've developed him all year as your closer. He's been, for the most part, there's been a few bad outings, and especially recently, where it's been shaky. But for the most part, he's been one of the best closers in the SEC. And you go with Connor Noland, and I mean, it was confusing, and it didn't work out. That was the biggest thing. If you go with Connor Noland and it works out, he gets 3 outs and you win the game, then we're talking about a different story. We're like, great move throwing Nolan out there. Didn't feel good about Tigert, but it didn't work out and he didn't look good. And how different is this game if Zach Gregory doesn't slip in left field?
Yeah, that's a good point too. I mean, I didn't see a good replay of it, but that was tough to watch. But at the same time, I mean, it didn't like. We were texting Hutch about this, right? And he was like, "Oh, Arkansas's blown it already. Like it's written in the cards." But I was like, "Come on, have you seen the rest of this regional? Like anything can happen here." And sure enough, Nolan Mclean, the guy who basically blew the game for the Cowboys on Saturday night, comes out to pitch and pretty much does it again. I mean, albeit with another throwing error by a middle infielder. But Brady Slavin's down to their last out. tying it up, that was huge. And you know, again, like it's one of those what ifs, like that hard hit ball on Brady Tygart that hit his foot and somehow skipped into the outfield. Like that's a tough break too, you know. There were just some tough breaks tonight. And you know what? Oklahoma State on Sunday on the whole, they scored 43 runs. Like at what point does that luck run out? I mean, it's not necessarily all luck, right? They're swinging the bats well. We know that. But I feel like hot streaks got to come to an end at some point.
I agree, but I don't know if it has to come to an end, you know? Like
Well,
there's nothing that says that has to happen.
You're right, but I say that, and then I realize that Arkansas has probably the most depleted bullpen of all time, and so it may not come to an end Monday night.
I'm going to be honest. I have not looked into Oklahoma State and their bullpen and their pitching situation, but I would have to think that theirs is as bad, if not worse, than Arkansas's.
I'll tell you what the Cowboys did well today. In the first game against who they play, Missouri State, Trevor Martin, the guy who gave up the grand slam to Battles, threw like 120 pitches to get 6 and change maybe innings of relief. Like the Cowboys had used 3 pitchers, I think, through 2 innings, right? The Bears had that 9-run second inning, and we're like, oh well, it's over. Hogs are getting Missouri State tonight, but no, this guy came in, settled things down, and the Cowboys just went to work at the plate. And then Mitchell Stone, the guy tonight, he was well over 100 pitches as well. Got into the 7th. I mean, they were riding him out as long as they could, because they knew that if they were going to win the regional, they're going to have to play Monday as well. So they only ended up using 3 arms in this game. So, I mean, you're right. They taxed 2 guys today, Sunday in particular. They didn't use that many other guys, but think about all the guys they used Saturday night as well. Like how quickly can those guys bounce back?
Yeah, that is. I feel like that's just the biggest question all around for both teams is the pitching situation moving forward. Real quick, just got to mention. So we mentioned the Turner home run put Arkansas up 8-7, and then Oklahoma State scores 3 runs in the top of the 9th, and then it's 10-8, and you're thinking, okay, this game's over. Then you mentioned it. Arkansas ties it up 10-10.
I didn't think that.
You didn't. Well, okay. What in a real baseball game, which that was a real baseball game, but in a normal baseball game, that game's over. But Arkansas ties it up 10-10. And then the guy that you mentioned, Nolan Mclean, who basically blew it on the mound, didn't blow it, but gave up the 2 runs that tied the game on the mound. He comes up, and they had already scored 2 runs at that point, but then he hits a 2-run bomb. Oklahoma State goes up 14-10. And then it's like, okay, now it's over.
0-2, 2 outs, absolute moonshot. Like again, remember I described the situation with the press box windows last night. I could not see that ball land. It was hit so far.
Yeah. So, and then, I mean, it got to the point where Brady Tygart was pulled from the game and they put Gabe Starks in. So that's how it went. And then Arkansas in the bottom of the 10th just couldn't do it. It was over, and you're going to get a game on Monday, and let's just get to it. Well, actually, I want to talk about Matt Moore State Farm real quick. Want to remind you, Matt Moore State Farm, University of Arkansas alum. He's your good neighbor because he helps you get the best rates for your insurance at the best prices. Okay, so if you want to get good prices on your insurance, you need to call him at 501-568-3222. Because it's going to be great for you, and he's going to help you out. He's going to be somebody that you can bond with and you can talk with, because it's not just about, hey, we're going to do business and that's it. All I want to know is, how can I get your business? He wants to have a relationship with you, and you can have a relationship with him. If you're listening to this podcast, it's because you like Razorback baseball. You know who else likes Razorback baseball? Matt Morris. So call him 501-568-3222 for your surprisingly great rates today. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements. Robert, I don't want to speculate. I just want to go into it. who's your starting pitcher for Arkansas tomorrow?
Can I put a pause on this really quick?
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry. A little suspense. I need you, as somebody who watched the game on TV, to explain what happened on the pitching change when McIntyre was gonna get pulled and then had to go back in the game. What happened there?
So basically the rule says once the pitcher crosses the foul line and goes into pitch, he has to finish that at bat. He has to throw against the first batter. He has unless he medically and physically cannot finish that at bat, he has to stay out there and finish it, and then they can make a pitching change. And Dave Van Horn said he knew that rule, but the umpire should not have let Will McIntyre cross that foul line.
So do you suppose that Josh Holiday just said, hey, like he threw a pitch, like he's got to throw. I mean, because if the umpires let Van Horn come out of the dugout, surely they didn't know about the rule.
Yeah, also I just misspoke. I said Will McIntyre cross the foul line. I meant Dave Van Horn go pull Will McIntyre. He shouldn't have let Van Horn pull McIntyre and put Taylor in the game.
Right.
So I think it might have been, I don't know if it was Holiday or maybe one of the other umpires, but apparently somebody didn't know the rule. And then that's how you had the big old mix up. I didn't know it was a rule. And
No one did.
Dave Van Horn knew.
Well, he did. I think that's funny that he said he knew it, but he was testing it anyway. But I mean,
Why would
think
he do
about,
that though? It's a waste of time.
well, you know what? It worked out for the Hogs temporarily.
It did give them momentum temporarily.
But like I said, I mean, no one outside of him, I don't think knew the rule. Like I saw Christian Franklin and Patrick Wicklander tweeting about what is going on right now. You
Yeah.
know, like I don't know. It was weird. Okay, starting pitcher tomorrow. Who do I think is going to start?
Yes.
Cole Ramage.
Okay. That is my answer to the people who have texted me and asked. And I say my answer is Cole Ramage is probably who it's going to be. Zach Morris is also another good option. I don't know if they like him as a starter, though. We know that Cole Ramage can start games, and he has this year. He started a few midweeks. Zebulon Vermillion, another guy who has starting experience. I don't think they would start him because they've only trusted him for like 1 or 2 outs for most of the season. So a lot of people keep saying Heston Toll. What is it with the past like 6 hours and people being fascinated by Heston Toll? And we're fans of him. His sister sponsored our podcast. We think Heston Toll's a good pitcher. You do because you asked Dave Van Horn about him. But
I also think he has the best walk-up song on the team. However, we haven't seen him in weeks.
We haven't seen him in weeks, and that is for a reason.
What makes people think he would be effective now? I mean, if they need to try something different solely for the purpose of trying something different, then sure, but is that what you want to do when your season's on the line?
No, I think Cole Ramage is the smartest option. I think how many innings are you going to get out of Cole Ramage? No clue. I think there's no predicting anything in this regional at this point. I don't know what Arkansas's pitching is going to do because really it just seems like nobody, aside from the Grand Canyon game, it seems like nobody that's gone out and pitched has been good. Like Will McIntyre, he limited damage, like damage control. He did that. Zach Morris was decent for a little bit yesterday against Oklahoma State, yesterday being Saturday. It was Saturday? Yeah, okay. But I feel like it's just been like every Arkansas pitcher that goes out there has not done well. I don't know if that's Arkansas pitching just isn't there or Oklahoma State is just insane right now. I think it's a little bit of both because, I mean, Oklahoma State scored 29 runs against Missouri State. Some of that's bad pitching and some of that's just you cannot stop us from hitting the ball right now.
Oklahoma State both trailed by and led by 12 runs in that game. I can't wrap my head around that.
It's incredible. It is incredible. And then they beat Arkansas 14-10. I don't know, dude. I
And
just
they scored 12 the game before that, right? So what they're at 55 runs in 3 games in 28 innings. They're averaging very nearly 2 runs an inning.
that's incredible. Just incredible. I think Arkansas still has the advantage because Oklahoma State played a full day of baseball today. A full day. They also played late the night before and didn't get to sleep in like Arkansas did. So tomorrow, both teams are going to get, a good day of rest earlier in the day. But Arkansas does have a little bit of an edge as far as rest goes. I think that we saw that didn't matter at all because Oklahoma State beat them today. So, I don't know, dude. I just, you know what it feels like,
What's that?
and this is just because of I feel like I've said recency bias so many times on this podcast, but it's because of recency bias. It feels like that Zach Gregory missed liner in left field is the foul ball of this regional. Because you were gonna win that game. He catches that, you can probably get another out. Foul ball, you catch that, ball game. And I know that hurts. I know that people don't want to hear that. I know that some people might overreact to me saying that. I know that they're two way different scenarios. One is a national championship on the line. One is you're going to advance to a super regional. But what I'm saying is from where you were before the moment to what happened after the moment. Where you were before the Zach Gregory thing was you're up 8-7. You're probably going to win this ball game. Where you're at after is Oklahoma State went on to win the game 14-10. And then tomorrow you have to play another game. And who started that game for Arkansas, game 3 against Oklahoma State? Was it not Cole Ramage?
I don't remember.
I'm going to pull that up right now because I might be wrong.
Oregon
I'm
State,
pretty
right? You said
I'm pretty confident that it was Cole Ramage.
You're talking about Oregon State, right?
Game 3 against Oregon State. No, it was
Okay.
Isaiah Campbell. What? Oh,
That's
Cole
what I thought.
Ramage finished the game. That's what it was.
That's how long Cole Ramage has been on the team.
Cole Ramage pitched 2 innings, gave up 1 hit. It must have been a homer because he gave up 1 earned run. He had a walk and 2 strikeouts through 21 pitches in that game. So I was right that he threw in the game.
I mean,
Arkansas had 2 hits. I mean, it was the Kevin Abel game. I mean,
yes.
is Oklahoma State going to throw a pitcher tomorrow who throws a complete game?
No.
No.
They don't have they don't have an arm in their bullpen that can do that. I mean, I understand the similarities that you're working with, that you just described. We're talking about an orange and black team with the abbreviation OSU. By the way, I I don't know if you picked up on this, the 2 games that you were here for, but the chant that they've got going, where some like one half of the bunch goes orange and the other goes power. I am gonna have nightmares about that.
I could never tell what they were saying because there's only like 12 fans there. So
Right. That's another thing. Is they're not filling up that brand new ballpark, and it's very depressing. But
I
they're saying orange power, and I don't understand it. They said it a lot tonight. It was
yeah,
distressing.
I don't want to come off as a Debbie Downer, because I did also say that Arkansas was going to lose to Grand Canyon and then get knocked out by Grand Canyon in this regional. So I am not right very often. That is a fact. And so me sitting here and saying that this is, that it's a bad omen that Zach Gregory missed a liner in left field, that's just me creating content right now, like that's
Yes.
we're in the content creation business. But I think if you're listening to this, and Robert, I mean, you're sitting here talking with me right now, it's two very similar situations at this moment in time.
Well, it is, but it's also worth noting that we're aware that this is content creation, so we might as well make the listeners aware that this is content creation. Don't take this for something magnificent or groundbreaking, because it's not really, but
Or like
it's out there. It's
like
out
we're
there.
predicting the future as if we know what's going to happen in the Stillwater Regional 2022 Stillwater Regional, because nobody knows what's going to happen.
Yeah,
It is,
I tweeted at you earlier. It was like bold of you to assume something in this regional.
yeah, it is. And so I don't know what else to add, man. Arkansas, they lost 14-10. I mean, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a great ball game probably on Monday, 6:00, right?
Yep.
No TV. We don't know TV yet. So
I mean, my guess would be ESPN Plus. I don't know how many SEC teams have moved on already, but think
hold
about
on.
it.
Sorry, I didn't mean. Go ahead.
I mean, I don't know how many teams, SEC teams, have moved on at this point. Haven't kept up, and I know that the softball World Series is going on as well. So a lot of competition for time spot on the SEC network. So I mean, be prepared for it to be another ESPN Plus game, I would think.
So here is the slate for Monday. There's only two 6:00 games, and it's Arkansas, Oklahoma State, and Maryland, UConn. So
as long as
A&M,
there's not a softball game.
yeah, A&M beat TCU, and they advanced to the Supers. So there's scheduled to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Monday games. SEC games, Vandy plays Oregon State at 3. And then Ole Miss plays Arizona at noon. LSU, Southern Miss at 3, and Florida, Oklahoma at noon. And then another game that we need to be keeping up with is North Carolina, VCU at 5. Winner of that plays winner of Arkansas, Oklahoma State.
Right. So if the Rams come out on top of that one, they would travel to Fayetteville should the Hogs win. And if the Tar Heels win, then Arkansas is going to Chapel Hill should the Hogs win.
Should the Hogs win?
That's a very key detail.
Okay. Robert, you have anything else to add? I'm ready to go to bed.
I don't think that you should take my advice for gambling. However, if I were going to take my own advice, it'd be to bet the over.
You want to make a gentleman's bet on the podcast right now? You take the over, I'll take the under.
You're taking the under?
I think it's only right if we make a bet right now.
How much?
Let's just do $5.
All right.
Wait, you I know you want to bet a lot because you're taking the more favorable odds.
Yeah.
So basically, I should have more boosted odds. So if the over hits, you get $5. If the under hits, I should get like $20. Like my odds are a lot worse than yours.
Well, that's why you bet against the house. We're making an even odds bet against each other.
Can we create a house real quick?
That's what Saracen's for.
Yeah. No, don't say business names on the podcast, Robert. They don't sponsor us. Okay, $5.
$5.
People hold it. People will hold us to it. I'm probably gonna how about this? If the under doesn't hit, so if the over hits, I'm gonna start a GoFundMe so people can pay me to pay you. How about that? Or I'll just put my Cash App out there. It's the $ WPS MJC. That's my Cash App. If you want to send me $5 to send to Robert, if the over hits. What is the line, anyways? Did we know?
I don't care what it is. I'm taking it.
Well, we have to decide what line we're gonna. Are we gonna go off of Saracen's line, if they have one?
If they have one.
Okay. All right, that was fun.
You find me one, we'll use it.
Okay, that was fun. All right, we will talk to everybody after the regional final game. You think we're gonna be in a good mood or a bad mood?
I think we're going to be in a good mood.
Really? Cole Ramage
I-
deals 7 innings of scoreless ball.
I don't know why. It's just a gut feeling. Like I when the Hogs went down in the ninth, I was like, they're gonna win this game because I honestly thought that they would swat that third baseman around, Nolan Mclean, and I mean he walked a couple of guys, I think.
Yeah.
Well, there was an error in a single, but he his control was better. It still wasn't good. So that's I mean they were able to hit him in the ninth. Um, I don't know. Both teams are not going to have any pitching. It's going to be another insane game.
All right. We'll talk to everybody after.
You've been listening to the Diamond Hogs podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Choate Mason and at drstew32.